Nintendo Direct disease is at an all-time high right now, considering it's been since 2025 since we've had a general Nintendo Direct. It seems like lots of Nintendo YouTubers make weekly videos about how there's going to be a Nintendo Direct that upcoming week. And of course, as you are all well aware, I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber. I'm not feeding into this hype. I'm looking at this from a very logical standpoint. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, it's Mario Day, Martin Day, so there must be a Nintendo Direct then. I mean, you got the movie Direct. Isn't that what you wanted? The third Nintendo Direct for the Super Mario Galaxy movie? A movie needs 3 trailers. I get it, though. They want people to watch the trailers. Then, of course, you have, well, what about these games? These games don't have release dates. Somebody tweets out the number 12, and that means there's going to be a March 12th Nintendo Direct. And it's like, people need to take a step back with this, because I think there's more proof of there not being a Nintendo Direct anytime soon than there is of their proof being a Nintendo Direct sometime soon. So what do I mean by all of this? What is the latest evidence that kind of shines a light that, hey, there's probably not going to be a Nintendo Direct anytime soon, and I think March is now a dead case. I think Nintendo has killed the Nintendo Direct for March with this latest announcement. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate your support. Anyways, let's talk about this together. So what happened today? Well, Nintendo took to Twitter and they made an announcement, and they had a brand new trailer for one of their upcoming games, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Now, this game technically falls within the window of the Super Mario 40th anniversary celebration. That's kind of a whole nother story in and of itself. All these people were like, there's definitely a 3D Mario happening this year, and it's like, no, there's probably not. Like, you might see one maybe at the end of the year, but I don't think there's a 3D Mario releasing this year. But Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is the next upcoming first-party Nintendo Switch 2 game. A cutesy 2D platformer with an interesting sort of art style to it and stuff like that. Like, I have to be honest with you, I'm not really, like, super interested in this game. Like, I think it looks fine. You know, it looks all right. It's kind of a puzzle platformer, more so than just a traditional platformer where you're trying to, get to an end of the level. You're trying to discover things within the level and kind of solve puzzles to get to other areas and stuff like that within the level. Like, it's fine, but, like, a $70 2D platformer for me is kind of a tough sale, especially when I'm not the biggest like Yoshi fan in the world. But it is indeed confirmation of a release date for a Nintendo Switch 2 game that had been announced, that people were pointing to as one of the main reasons why we needed a Nintendo Direct. There's like a 4-minute or so trailer. You can watch the whole thing and kind of catch the vibe from the game. Like I said, I don't know. I might get it just depending on like what else is coming out in May. Like if I'm not busy or something like that, then, maybe I'll check it out and do a review on it. Maybe it'll kind of sell me more so when you actually play the game versus just watching a trailer. But as it stands right now, my interest isn't too high in this. But what my interest is high in is the vibe that we're getting right now from Nintendo. Because this is a situation where you need to read the room. Like I said months ago, there are several Nintendo Switch 2 games that are first party that Nintendo has announced that do not have release dates. There are several games coming out for both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 that are first party Nintendo titles coming out in the spring of 2026. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is just the latest addition to that with a confirmed release date. You also have the Fire Emblem game. You also have Splatoon Raiders. So if this game is not coming out until May, there's this mentality that people have with this Nintendo Direct. And it's like, oh, well, the reason that they did, like, you know, the indie world and the partner showcase and stuff like that. It's because they're clearing the slate. They're Nintendo is clearing the slate in order to prepare for this massive Nintendo Direct where it's all gonna be, you know, a bunch of new stuff, and, you know, Mario might be there and Zeldies might be there, and this, that, or the other. Expectations are very high, but I think when you look at the situation in and of itself, and you kind of start to read the room more so, and even look to past things that Nintendo has said, like, I think that there is a very, very good chance that you're not getting a general Nintendo Direct until June. With this game coming out at the tail end of May, this could have easily, if there was a Nintendo Direct happening soon, you could have easily included this in it. You know, but you didn't. You announced it on your own time and on your own terms. Now you're kind of, you know, clearing out mostly up until June, and then you could have Fire Emblem, Splatoon Raiders, and then whatever else new you got going on. But people have this in their head that, like, you know, Nintendo's going to be churning out games left and right for the system, that being the Switch 2. And to be fair, like, they have been already. When you look at the amount of exclusives that have came out on the Nintendo Switch 2, I mean, there's articles written about it. Like, there are more exclusives for the Switch 2 than there are for, like, the PlayStation 5 already. So once you also start to think about how Nintendo said that development times would take longer on the Switch 2 because of technology and stuff like that, and them utilizing higher fidelity graphics and stuff like that, and higher frame rates than they did on the Switch 1. That's going to take time. Nintendo said that before the system, the Switch 2, even launched, to expect these longer development times. And, like, I think people just get so hung up on the next thing. I honestly think a lot of people don't play video games. I think they just talk about games. They don't actually play them, because it's like that. You know, I've had plenty of stuff to play in 2026 to where, like, my life isn't contingent on a Nintendo Direct or anything like that. And then you have, like, the big question for people. Well, if there's no Direct until, you know, June or something like that, and there's no 3D Mario, what's the big holiday game this year? What's the game that's going to sell and drive system sales and stuff like that? Pokemon's not till 2027. What are they going to do? That's kind of one of the strange things about the Switch 2, though. I was not sold on Pokopia. I'm still not sold on Pokopia. I'm never going to buy Pokopia, more than likely. But Pokopia was a game that I don't think people expected it to be as successful as it has been. This game, literally, a game key card, mind you, which, you know, we're never, no vote, no game key card, we're protesting, is sold out like everywhere. It's gotten so crazy that Amazon has raised the price of the game key card from $70 to $80 if you want to buy it, because there's so much demand for Pokopia. Pokopia is selling systems as well. I've had people DM me on Twitter and be like, yo, I was at my local GameStop and, like, there's no Switch 2s, and, like, parents are coming in there looking for Pokopia and the Switch 2. Like, it's stuff like that. And that was a game that I don't think a lot of people expected to be, you know, this big thing, but it's become this big thing. We might not even have in our mind what the big holiday game is going to be. It doesn't have to be a Mario. It doesn't have to be a Zelda. Yes, it would be nice. I miss 3D Mario games. It's been a very long time since Super Mario Odyssey, but it's a different video game world out there. And I say all that to say, we got to stop this Nintendo Direct shit, man. Like, I mean, there could be one. There could be one tomorrow, realistically speaking. Nintendo marches to the beat of their own drum. I'm just saying, from a probability standpoint, I think we have enough evidence, you know, because that's what it's not based on feelings. It's based on factual stuff. And the evidence definitely shows that more than likely it's not going to be till June. And that's okay. There's stuff to play. Go play some video games instead of spending all your time on social media just talking about video games. Anyways, guys, those are my opinions on this. The death of the March Nintendo Direct. You got to stop listening to some of those insiders that keep giving you this information and these channels that talk about every little thing. But, you know, I guess it's just entertainment at the end of the day. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think there's going to be a March Nintendo Direct? I'm sure there will be people that do, because, you know, you got the disease. It's okay. I hope you find a cure for it. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.